Hello, this video is what I think about Albert Einstein. Dan Tonelli suggested I do this video. What's up, Dan? So, I didn't do actually any research. I didn't watch any of the videos or whatever, so this is just kind of off the top of my head what I think about Albert Einstein's. I think Albert Einstein's a fascinating individual because he came up with the law, the theory of relativity, like grabbed it out of thin air, figured out that energy and matter are the same thing, okay? And the crazy thing is how in the hell did he figure that one out? Like, did the aliens tell him? If the aliens told him, then that must mean that there's aliens. Did he feel it? Did he see it in a dream? Well, if he saw it in a dream, that must mean that that there's spirits out there telling us stuff that actually exists. Maybe that was it. Because it's something that's hard to imagine, even if you do look at the scientific reasoning for the theory of relativity, of how time is related to matter. If you move fast, time becomes slow. Airline pilots who spend a lot of their days flying at 800 miles an hour all over the world, they have to reset their watches. I don't know how often, but I think like you'll lose like a couple hundredths of a second in like one flight or something like that in your watch. It's an actual measurable thing. When they set up satellites to fly around, they have to figure out how fast those satellites are flying and then adjust the clocks on the satellites to how fast they're going, because they're going to be going at a different speed because they're going faster. And like, how the hell? And he was talking about that. He was actually postulating that in his theory, saying, yeah, if somebody goes off into space, and the brother comes back 1,000 years later, he will be only 1 year older, and his brother will have died by then. And it's like, how the hell did you know that? And it's even trippy to think about the way that I contemplate. And of course, it was proven by the nuclear bomb how matter and energy are the same thing. They got the heaviest metal, the heaviest element, metal that they could find, uranium, which has 92 protons inside of the nucleus, as opposed to like, well, hydrogen, which only has one, or your average, I guess, carbon, which we're familiar with, which our bodies are made up, only has 5, I think, 5 or 6. And all of them atoms are the same size, so if you put them all together, it's going to be 30 times heavier than your body. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So therefore it has more energy because it has more mass. And so if you pierce it, if you pierce those little photons, and yeah, he was even coming up with the idea of like the strong force and the weak force. The idea of if something gets closer, it becomes 1.5 times, the gravitational field becomes 1.5 times stronger. It's like an exponential, I think what it's called, exponential increase in gravitational pull. That's why once you get past 60 miles up, you're not pulled to the earth anymore. You can actually float, and then you're only going around it. You're only revolving around it, kind of like the moon does. So, same thing with the atoms. You put all the atoms together, and since they're so close, they're all like, well, not the atoms, all of the protons inside the nucleus of the uranium atom. You put them all together, so they're all like hugging each other. But if you can break them apart just enough, then and pierce them, then the energy, then all the little electrons, the little photons inside those things come out, and then they push the other one out and break them open. And then once they get those little protons get farther enough out, since they're protons and they have positive charge, those positive charges are going to override the force that was holding them together. And it's going to push them apart, and then they're going to bang into the other ones and push them all apart. And that's what causes a nuclear bomb. And then it all just gets blown up. All those little protons get blown up, and the photons inside of them go away, and it just, it destroys matter and turns it into energy. And he knew that, and they knew that, and that's why they built the nuclear bomb. But they envisioned that, and the idea, and so it's like, how did Einstein envision that? Well, I guess maybe the way that I can envision the theory of relativity would be how light is a constant, and maybe they knew that, and that's how he figured it out. I don't know if they knew the speed of light. They must have known the speed of light before Einstein. It's pretty easy to figure out the speed of light. You just have two different clocks at two different edges of like a really big warehouse or something, and then you turn one on, and then when they're all they have clocks at the same timing, so then you have the light turn on here, and then the one detects when the light arrives, and then it can tell you when it turned on, when it received the light, so then you see how long it took to get there, and lo and behold, it goes 186,000 miles a second, like 350,000 kilometers a second. And so they knew that light had a speed limit. So if light has a speed limit, and light comes out of the sun, light's photons, which comes out of the sun, which is what is created when you pop open, the extreme pressure inside the center of the sun fuses hydrogen atoms with helium atoms, and helium atoms with other helium atoms. They have to incorporate the same space. So now the hydrogen two hydrogen turn into a helium. But since two atoms are now using the space of one atom, they had to get rid of those little photons that were dancing around inside the valency level of those electrons. So then they shoot out and take 2 million years to get to the surface of the sun, and then 8 more minutes to get to the Earth in the form of light. And so maybe that's how they figured it out. They knew that light comes from atom. If everything is made out of matter and we revolve around the sun, because the sun is matter, but the sun gives us our light, and the sun gives us our light because all those planets come together and squeeze together and then turn into light. That could mean that that could be proof right there that light is from matter. And because light has a speed limit, if you're going fast yourself, then all the vibrations, then the matter that you're made out of, which is light, is vibrating, oscillating at a certain speed. It can't oscillate as fast because it has to make up for the speed that you're already going. So it has to catch up as you're moving forward. Like if you're going in a train almost the speed of light down, and you magnify like your atoms inside your body, the little timekeeper, and it's going forward and backward. Well, when it goes forward, it's going forward, the same speed relative to you, but it's going actually a lot faster when it goes forward. But then when it's going back again, it's actually going a lot slower because it can only go a certain speed, according to the galactic speed limit of light. Like oscillating. You're going this fast. Well, you're going fast. It's like it's not going as fast when it's going like this. So that's why time speeds up when you're going faster. You're living in. So there's I guess there's this boundary to the universe out there. Like this may be the center of our galaxy, which kind of holds it all in place. But it's so hard to describe. I mean, imagine how hard it would be to imagine if you were him. So how did they figure that out? Well, I think he figured it out from, you know, looking at the sun and seeing how the sun creates light and out of matter, because the sun is obviously matter because we revolve around it, and it creates light at the same time. That's one way I think he figured that out. And also from religious texts. I think he read religious texts. Like Buddhism and Hinduism believe that energy is matter. Talking about vibration and chakras, and knowing that chakras come from out there. Some energy out there, which people didn't believe, by the way. I should have put this in my other video. But yeah, people didn't believe that like anything existed out there, and then they discovered radio, and now it's like, oh yeah, well, radio waves, of course. Yeah, so maybe he just included those. He integrated those. Sun creating light, but being matter. All the Buddhism and Hinduism believing in chakras, so there's energy out there. By then radio was invented, so then there's this radio out there, so energy is matter. But and then factoring in that light has a speed limit. So I guess that's how he figured it all out. But I mean, seeing how light has a speed limit and how time would slow down for you, that's like something that's difficult for me to contemplate. And maybe I wasn't able to explain it because I couldn't contemplate it all the way. Like, but it's interesting to figure that out. I think you even get larger in size as you go faster. So that's another, that kind of even goes beyond Einstein. That's like the next level of the theory of relativity. The higher you vibrate, the bigger you get. So when you become a ghost, you're not living in this spiritual realm. You're living in this physical realm. You're living in the spirit realm, where light has a different speed limit, and you're bigger in size. So I guess your body, your space body, your ghost body connects to a larger chakra, and you can maybe travel around the universe. But maybe that's how the aliens travel around the universe. But yeah, Einstein figured all that out, and that's why he's considered the smartest man. Will everybody ask, who is the smartest man ever? Everybody goes Einstein. Who's the greatest scientist ever? They think Einstein or Newton. Sir Isaac Newton was the greatest, and some people would say Sir Isaac Newton is, made a bigger impact, smarter than Einstein, because he was the one who actually came up with all the, the raw laws of thermodynamics and the laws that we use today, physical laws. And he lived a lot longer, so people aren't as familiar with him as Einstein, and maybe that's why they think Einstein's smarter. But everybody thinks Einstein's the smartest, and that's because he came up with that idea. But what he did was he integrated different ideas, and then he came up with a solid, useful solution to it, and I think that's worthy of noting. Looking at the sun and the light, listening to what the religions say about the chakras and past life, the radio waves exist, the speed limit of light, and that's how you come into conclusions, is by integrating stuff. So I think that's why he was the smartest, because he integrated. You have to integrate stuff. You have to look at all the different sciences. You can't just look at one thing and become a technologist, a technician. A lot of people think they're scientists, but they're just when they're just technicians. You're only a scientist if you look at the data coming from all the different subjects of science, all the different scientific disciplines. Will give you your proper scientific decision on stuff. Or like the growing Earth. I don't think geologists know that the Earth is growing because they don't plug in. They don't plug in astrophysics with light coming in and feeding stuff, and hyperdimensional light. They don't plug in biology with dinosaurs not being able to be that big. They don't plug in the Earth being alive and growing with the light. They don't plug in oil, how oil doesn't come in from... oil exists way out in the sea where there were never dinosaurs. An undersea bed that existed before dinosaurs existed, so oil doesn't fall sideways. They don't plug in all that other stuff. You have to plug it all in. You don't just look at the data that you're looking in to find out where the oil is and then call yourself a scientist. You're just a technician. You're a scientist, looks at all the data. So a proper scientist would believe in the soul and God, and because if you look at scientific experiments that aren't mainstream, well, that's what they'll tell you. So, anyways, I think that's why he's regarded as the smartest, because he integrated. But he never figured out that last answer, which was the grand unified field theory. Where does gravity come from? And I think that's a pretty simple question, actually, a simple answer, and it's that. And I think he did believe in God, but he could have just taken that belief literally and just said, yeah, everything in the universe is actually physically connected in a way that circulates energy. And so the energy dissipates from everything, and then but it also receives. And then you look at all the patterns of of how things grow out. With the 3.16, the golden mean spiral comes out, and how it exists in everything, pine cones to flowers to hurricanes to galaxies to our planets around our sun to the laws of exponential increase in gravity as stuff gets closer to the center. Yeah. So that means that energy is coming in. So energy comes in, and as that energy from everything else comes into you, it's this stream, and that's what gravity is. It's the stream that's bringing you into the center of whatever, and then when it gets to the center, it spirals back out to everything else. But anyways, but to write it in terms of like a little equation, maybe somebody will, but he never did it. Okay.